Hello, my dear friends. Welcome back to another Adobe Live Photoshop Creative Challenge. I am your host today, Idara. My name is Idara. What is up, you guys? I see some of you guys in the chat already. Hey, Robert. Hey, Clever. Hey, Val. Hey, girl. How are y'all doing? I hope that y'all are so well. We are ending a 4-week streak with this Photoshop Creative Challenge. We have covered so much. If you have missed any part of this Creative Challenge, please go ahead and you can rewatch any of the past streams that we've had on YouTube. I want to make sure y'all get in some of that goodness that we've gotten this past month. And today we are going to be working on a portrait that you all will have access to. Val is going to drop the starter file in the chat so that way you guys can download the image and play around with it as well. We are going to be doing like this kind of like kaleidoscope effect. Yeah, so we're just going to play around and see what we can get. If it comes out great, cool. If it doesn't, that's all right. But let's see. Let's see who's in the chat. I see Kevin is in the chat. My cousin is watching too. Girls Creative Hangout. Hey, Val's cousin. Awesome. So we're going to go ahead and get started since sadly, we don't have much time together. I feel like the time goes by so quickly, but this is the file that y'all will have access to. It is a portrait that I took towards the end of last year, actually, and was going for like this like vintage vibe. I was obviously the photographer, but I was also the stylist, y'all. I'm pretty proud of myself for the styling I did here. But for this image, I really want to create like a kaleidoscope effect. I feel like it has a vintage vibe already. I feel like I can kind of clone her face around and play around with the colors and see what we can get. So we're going to be utilizing the clone stamp tool today. But before we do that, before I start cloning anything, I do want to go ahead and just make some slight adjustments. I feel like her skin is looking a little bit too, I want to kind of like neutralize her skin a little bit. It was like really red. Very red. Not too much. Yeah, see, okay, I don't know if you guys can see that, but the slight adjustments that I've made, that's the before and that's the after. I did impact her tights, which I don't want to do, so I'm gonna come here and I'm just gonna remove that off of the mask. Just kind of make sure I paint that back in. I think there's only reds in her skin and in her tights, so I can just kind of be messy with that as well. Let's bump this flow up so I can really make sure I get, yeah, there we go. All right, lovely. Let's see. All right, great. So now we're just seeing that that was editing her skin tone and not her tights. So we kind of like neutralized her skin. It was a bit too red. And I also do want to call out that I did make some slight, very slight adjustments in Lightroom before, or you can do it Lightroom or you can do it in Camera Raw. I just increased the exposure. I think I pulled up the shadows a little bit and then that was it, just to kind of get this in a good starting position. So I wanted to call that out. So I like the way that that looks. So we're going to leave that there. I'm going to duplicate my background and call this, I don't even know, how do you spell kaleidoscope? Kaleidoscope. Ooh, I wrote that without looking at the keyboard. I'm so fancy. Awesome. So we're going to go ahead. I don't know why I said that, y'all. We're going to go ahead and utilize our clone stamp tool brush to do this effect. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to increase the size. I'm going to keep the hardness down to 0. I kind of want the size to be like around, the size of my brush to be like this, around the size of her face. The kind of goal that I have here is that I don't want it too big where I'm taking too much information, but I also don't want it to be like small where I feel like I have to keep cloning her face, if that makes sense. So I'm trying to find like a brush size that kind of feels like a happy medium. Like, that's kind of cool. All right, so I'm going to, on my Mac, I am pressing, I'm pressing Option to hold down, and I'm going to just kind of go over her face, and then you'll see here that I can kind of clone in her face. Val said you spell so gracefully, excuse me, on stream. If I'm spelling live, it's in a blind panic. Val, LOL, I'm actually quite, I'm screaming. LOL. So we're just gonna come in here and just kind of clone in her. Oh, just kind of wherever we feel, it makes sense. Where do we want her head? I want to kind of like, I'm gonna come and clean that up there. All right. Just gonna keep adding her face, This is just, again, wherever you feel like it makes sense to add in. I feel like this is looking very creepy. I promise y'all, there is a goal here. We have a goal here. All right. I'm going to put one more. I feel like I should have put this one down here, but I'm going to put one more like down here. I feel like that looks... I feel like I also want it a little bit closer. I feel like kaleidoscopes are usually like very close. So we're just going to keep cloning her face in some of these like empty areas. Yeah. This is looking very creepy, I feel like, but we will tone it down a bit. All right. So I'm going to come and get some of her hair here too. Okay. And then I'm going to come in with my eraser tool, and the areas that I feel like are overlapping that I don't want to have overlap, I'm just going to clean those up. So for example here, her face in her shirt here is kind of weird. So I'm just going to clean up this ever so slightly. Kind of want to make it look like she's behind, like the effect is behind her, if that makes sense. Like I don't want it to overlap with her in the front, if that makes sense. If it don't make sense, my bad. I'm so sorry. And you know what? I also want to say that like my goal for the creative challenges this month were to like play around with portraits, like as photographers, I feel like we don't get like super creative with our portraits. It's just like, oh, like I could have just let this be like the image itself, which I feel like I did originally in the final image. But then I was like, what can we do to just make it a little bit more fun, And the way we can make it a little bit more fun is to play around and just try different effects. We did the fish, what is it called? Not fisheye. We did, it was the fisheye. Is it called fisheye, y'all? Fisheye lens. Yes, we did the fisheye effect. We also did, what else did we do? I'm going to erase this here. I kind of want her shoulder to just, yeah. And I'm going to come in here and again, I'm just erasing where I feel like I don't want I don't mind that, but I'm gonna come back here. But yeah, what I was saying was I really wanted to focus on ways that we could play around with our portraits, right? Not just it being this kind of just like the picture and the portrait by itself, but getting creative, essentially. I was losing my train of thought, all right? Get strange with the portraits, yes. That's the entire point. Get strange with the portraits. Okay, I want to come in here and I want to fill up her hair a little bit. I want it to give just a wee bit. Okay. All right. So you can see this is the effect on here. I don't like this up here. And we might have to remove or figure out what we're going to do here. I think my brush might be a little bit too hard for that section. Oops. Oopsies. Okay, let me see. I'm going to start to decrease the... Yeah, okay, cool. All right, I see the vision. I kind of see the vision. We're going to add a little bit more of her faces. We're going to add more face here. So I'm going to come in here. Oh, nope, that brush was not big enough. And if y'all have any questions, please throw them in the chat. Clever says spelling is never a blind panic for me. Clever LOL. With the purposeful misspelling there, huh? Okay, no, I don't like that there. I might even crop this in a little bit. I feel like I messed up in this corner, but it's okay. We're just gonna roll with the punches. Roll with the punches. All right. Kind of want to fill out her hair over here to get rid of. There we go. That's a bit better for me there. This is very creepy. I don't know what made me want to do this, y'all, but I promise you, maybe in the end, it'll all make sense. All right. Let's be careful here. Start from that side and then. All right. Again, I'm just kind of cloning in her face anywhere that it kind of can make sense. This is getting very creepy. Are y'all feeling this? I don't know if I am. Did I bite off more than I could chew? I don't know. We're going to find out. Okay, cool. So I'm just going to stop there, and then I'm going to lower the opacity a bit. Yeah. Let's lower the opacity. I'm going to crop. Do I want to crop it? A little bit. I want to crop it to like crop at her eyes. And bring it in a little bit. Okay, and let's go ahead and done that. Ooh, okay. All right, I'm feeling it. Okay, I felt like at first it wasn't too many faces, and then I was like, I want more. And even now, I want more. The goal will be to like, of course, lower the opacity. Like it's not gonna look so like this, but I do want to like. Make sure it's like full of her face. And then I will lower the opacity and make sure that like she is shining through here. All right, so I'm gonna lower this opacity here. Let's go to like, yeah, let's go about there. And then I'm gonna come in with my eraser tool, and then anywhere that I feel like it's overlapping with my main subject, especially in her face, I'm just gonna erase that out. I wanna make sure she is like really popping out there, right? It's looking like something heading to the evidence locker very soon. LOL, you guys, please. Don't come for me. LOL. I promise y'all, in the end, it'll make sense, okay? In the end. Let's have a little bit of hope. Let's have a wee bit of hope here. I want to add another face over here. This spot is looking a little empty here. And I'm going to bring the opacity back up so I can see what I'm doing. I feel like this should be another face. In this little corner here. More faces! Because why not? Oh, no, not that one. Let's do one right here. Okay, maybe I need a smaller brush. All right, there we go. Yeah, that feels a little balanced. Then I'm gonna bring down the opacity. Ooh, I like it. I like it. I don't know, y'all. It just feels okay. Cool. So we're at 12:43. All right. So yeah. That's nice. Let's play around with some colors. Let's see what we can do here. I'm gonna go to color balance first, and I'm just gonna like. Ooh. Okay. What do we want to do? So I can add in some cyans. Ooh. And at this point, we're just playing around to see what feels good. Do you guys want it like, y'all help me. Do we want, oh, thank you, Clever. It's beautiful. Thanks. Do y'all think we should go for more of a warm vibe, or should it be like a little bit cool? I don't know. Is the cool a little bit too creepy? I don't know. Like, let me know where you're falling in the color world, y'all. Are we falling in an area? Sean, why not? Do not ask. Are we falling more? I think I like the more warm, you know. I'm a warm gal though. Like I really like that quite a bit. I don't know. How are you guys feeling about it? How we feeling? I'm going to leave it there for right now. I'm going to call, okay, the color balance is already on there. What else are we going to do? Let's go to some hue and sat, because why not? We can play around with the color there. All right. Let's make a global hue and sat and see what we can get here. I don't want to do too much because obviously like it's still her skin. So I don't want it to be, ooh, I like the warmth, but she could be an evil mastermind. Ooh. She could be an evil mastermind, right? Okay, I'm going to keep the warmth. Let's see. It's giving Foxy 1973. That's what I'm talking about. I know that's right. All right. Yeah, I like that quite a bit. And then, you know what I'm going to do now, y'all? I'm going to go to my selective color. And let's see what we can do with our whites. Just a wee bit. Because there are some whites in there. I really want it to give that like vintage kind of vibe. All right, cool. Then I'm going to go into blacks. I feel like this is really going to do something for our image right now. Okay, I feel like this is going to transform it. This moment right here, yeah. Selective color with the blacks, yeah, let's go. Ooh, okay, not too much on her though. Not too much. All right. I will come in like, ooh, hold on. I think I kind of like it. I'm going to bring down the opacity just a wee bit. I don't know, y'all. I mean, she's different, right? But, and I'm also trying to see, do you guys think I should like, the other question I have is, should I bring her body out more? Like, should I come in here? I feel like I'm going to be playing a very dangerous game. So I'm going to duplicate this to be safe. But I'm kind of teetering back and forth between like, can I select my subject by chance? Will it select her or is it going to select all the subjects? It's going to select all the subjects. You know what? This is what I can do. Okay, hold on. Let's redo that. All right, I'm going to duplicate this, select my subject, which will be that. Then I'm going to invert and delete, move this layer up here. Yeah. Ooh, what did I do? Oh, I came over here. Okay, I like that. So what I just did, y'all, I felt like I wanted my subject to be out in the front, right? So let's just go back, right? Because I feel like I did quite a few things and I didn't really explain it to y'all. So I kind of want this kaleidoscope effect to be behind my subject. I feel like it's a little bit too much, right? Val, you feel me, right? Okay, let's just run that back. So I'm going to duplicate my original layer here. I'm just going to do this, and this is going to be the layer we're going to use to bring our subject to the front of that kaleidoscope thing, right? So I'm going to Command-Shift-I, delete the background, and then we just have our subject here, right? Love that for us. I'm going to grab her, and I'm just going to bring her in front. Bam. Yeah. Yeah. That's a vibe. Yeah. I knew I could trust my gut, y'all, right? Better. Sean said better. Yep. Yeah. That just feels right. That just feels so like really, really nice. And then I can come back here. I feel like I wanted it to be more, but I really like the subtle, like where I had to place. Yeah. That feels so much better, right? Okay, cool. Let's play around with the colors a wee bit more. And again, disclaimer, like we're just here to have fun, right? Oh, this is amazing. So Val, thank you so much. You are giving me the reassurance that I need right now. Because at first I was like, ooh, I don't know, y'all. I don't know how she's gonna look. But I'm trying to like push myself creatively. All right. We're not just a photographer. We want to enter our design bag, right? We want to be really creative. All right. And that's something that I struggle with because I feel like everything I do is just like, oh, here's this cool portrait. And like, that's it. And don't get me wrong. As a photographer, that's like what I do. But I really want to push my images just a wee bit further, just a wee bit. Okay, so I'm really falling for this. We got a couple of minutes left. Let's see what we can do here with levels. Let's just like play around with this a wee bit more. Ooh, not too much on her. Okay, what else do I want to do? What else can we add in here? Ooh, I wonder if I add like a solid color on top. Let's see. And then let's see the blend modes that we can do. Oh. I'm sorry, y'all. So what I just did to, again, just take it a bit further, I added a solid color on top of it, and I'm going to play around with these blend modes to see what I like. And then I can like reduce the opacity and fill of them if I feel like it's like adding to the vibe of it all. If it's not adding them, you know, we can stop. But I just said, why not? Why not? Okay, there's the darken color. Okay, there's linear burn. I kind of like multiply. Again, just bring down the opacity. Yeah. We're doing all of the things, right? We're just, how far can we push this image? How far can we push this design? I don't know. Let's see. I'm gonna come back to my reds, see if I can play around with that skin tone just a wee bit. I think I pushed her a little too far. Just want to make her a little. Let's see. I know this is impacting her tights too, which is fine. All right. Okay, that's better. Oh, I'm a fan. All right, let's go ahead and put everything in. We have a couple minutes left. Let's just do a little bit of a summary, okay? I like that. Listen, I don't want to toot my own horn, but I feel like that came together very, 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 very nice. The glory, first you see the beautiful person, then you see the powerful kaleidoscope. Come on, Clever, you feel me? Man, I'm sorry, I have so much energy today. But to go ahead and let's just recap what we did here, all right? And y'all let me know if I need to step in this creative bag a bit more. I just felt like this was so much fun today, and I want to like push myself and encourage y'all to push yourself, especially as creatives, as photographers. You know, our creativity does not have to end in the studio. We can push ourselves a bit further with Photoshop and just trying to see what new stories can we tell with a portrait. Like, I feel like this tells a story in itself, but this also tells a story, you know? And so I just feel like, I know I messed up something. Hold on. There we go. This also tells a story. So playing around with your images and just pushing yourself is really, really important. So real quickly recap, because we have about 3 minutes left. So this was our original image. I did make some slight color adjustments, or it wasn't color, but it was just some slight adjustments to the exposure, increased the exposure, and I also increased or pulled back on the shadows just a wee bit to just bring in a little bit more of that detail. So I did that in Lightroom, but you can do that in Lightroom or Camera Raw. So if you're pulling the image from the starter file, there is that slight difference, but just go ahead and fix that in Camera Raw. And then the first thing that I did before anything else, I did kind of balance out her skin tone. Let me go ahead and do this one at a time. Looking at the time, her skin tone, it was a little bit too red. I wanted to pull back and make it look a bit more just like neutral, like that neutral undertone. And then we went in with our kaleidoscope effect, and we were just adding in all of the things, all of the kaleidoscopes, I keep calling all the different clones. We used the clone stamp tool to clone her face. And I did remove the opacity. So I did decrease it. It was at 100, so that's what it looked like. I pulled back to 63 because I don't want it to be the star of the show, but more so like an accent to the image. And then before we go into all these other color adjustments, I did feel like our main subject in the portrait, she's getting lost behind all the faces, right? Like, it's just too much going on. So I duplicated the original layer, clicked on selective subject, and remove the background, or you can click the remove background button. I tend to do it the opposite way, as we learned last week. And then I brought that to the forefront, so that way my subject pops out and those kind of duplicates of her face fall into the background. Then we get into our color. We did a little bit of color balance. We did some selective color, hue and sat. Selective color again, a little levels for contrast. We did a color fill to kind of add more of that like vintage retro vibe that the image is already giving us. I wanted the color to fall into that specific kind of arena, and then a little selective color to finish off. And I feel like we did that. I don't know, y'all. You let me know. I might just be tooting my own horn, but I feel like we did that. I don't know. I really love how this came out. We do Let me see if there's any questions. Are y'all feeling it? Are you feeling, in the beginning, I feel like it was a little bit questionable. All right. We were not too sure what we were doing, but in the end, it came together. All right. Won't he do it? So if y'all, I really hope that y'all enjoyed this. Let's see if there's any questions. Oh, Val also said, dude, this is so relatable. I feel like this all the time, but it's hard to break the mold when you're worried about what others will think. That is so true, especially again, when you're so used to doing things a specific way as a creative. When you want to push yourself a little bit more and try new things, it's really, really daunting and scary. And so really want to encourage y'all to just go beyond the mold, like push yourselves. If there is an idea you have, something you want to try, something you want to just play around with, sometimes there is beauty that just comes out in that playfulness. And I really believe in like our inner child and just like really tapping into that and just being playful and seeing where we land. And I feel like we were able to do that with this photo and just kind of like being playful and getting a beautiful result in the end. So that is all of our time. We have hit our full time for our Photoshop Creative Challenge. I hope that y'all have had a wonderful time this whole entire month. I can't believe May is already gone, y'all. But I hope that y'all have had a really great time this month. I know that I have, and I will see y'all, I guess, next time. Yeah. Bye.